theory class. This is a recap of week 3 or July 16th class. So first of all, we started off with looking at this page. If you can grab your scale degrees sheet. And we just started with a quick review of those words. The most important being tonic, the main note of the key, the first note of the key, and the dominant, the next strongest note within any scale, which is our 5th note. And we looked at the notes that create the tonic arpeggio. Tonic, mediant, dominant. We're skipping from the first note of the scale to the 3rd note of the scale to the 5th note of the scale. And then we looked at the notes that create the subdominant arpeggio. Tonic, submediant, subdominant. So skipping from 8 to 6 to 4, going down your scale. And then underneath you can see the intervals that we always find in a major scale when we count from the tonic up. Tonic to supertonic is a major 2nd. Tonic to mediant is a major 3rd. Tonic to subdominant is a perfect 4th. Tonic to dominant, perfect 5th. Tonic to submediant, major 6th. Tonic to leading tone, major 7th. And tonic to tonic, perfect octave. And underneath that you will find a bunch of sample questions where you're meant to name the intervals. Notice that for the example, major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, etc. line we just looked at, it was always C on the bottom because my key signature with no sharps and no flats reflects the key of C. So we always need the bottom note in the interval to reflect the key that we're considering. So when you look at the first example, you see 2 sharps in the key signature. Which major key has 2 sharps in the key signature? D major, F, C sharp, and C sharp leads us into D. So of course you see D to G, and you can count D, E, F sharp, G, and that's a perfect 4th. And then you see D to B, and you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, D to B. So it's a major 6th. Then you should notate those as P4 and either +6 or capital M6 for major. And then you can go on and complete the next example with the B flat and E flat in the key signature. The next one with the 3 sharps asks you to draw the intervals yourself, and so on for the rest of the page. Once you've completed that page, you should find this sheet here. It is called Draw the Correct Key Signatures. And the major key is labeled underneath, and you're just going to draw the key signature. Make sure you draw the sharps and flats always in the right order, from left to right. Father Charles goes down and ends battle, always in that order. Battle ends and down goes Charles's father, always in that order for flats. For major keys that have flats in their name, you list flats until you get to the key name and add 1 more. For major keys that don't have a flat in the key name, figure out what the leading tone is. The 7th note, 1 semitone down from the name of the key. And list your sharps until you get to that leading tone. After you've completed all of those drawings, you will then name the key for the key signatures listed. And then you'll be ready to look at this page called Key Signatures. We've had a few pages that are called Key Signatures since we've been working on the working memory involved in figuring out the orders of sharps, the orders of flats, major keys, and now minor keys as well. So notice this one starts with C minor and G sharp minor at the top. And in order to figure out the key signature for a minor key, there's an extra step, another step to use in our working memory. If you know the minor key and you need to figure out his relative major, you're going to have to count up 3 semitones, but 2 letter names. So C minor is given, and to figure out the relative, the cousin key that shares the same key signature, I have to count up 3 semitones. This is a great time to grab your piano keyboard and count up on your piano keyboard. C, C sharp, D, E flat. E flat is 3 semitones higher, so that's my relative major key, E flat major. C minor and E flat major are cousin keys, relatives, and now that you know E flat major is a cousin, you can draw the key signature for E flat major and know that it's shared by C minor. This page was assigned for homework today, but to be fair, the kids in the class only did the first couple of lines, and it was assigned for homework since next week there is no class. July 23rd, there will be no class, and we'll start again on the 30th. Please be aware that you can see some bass clefs, tenor clefs, and alto clefs on this page, so you will have to go back and check through your other handouts to make sure you draw those flats and sharps in the right order. We did spend about half an hour in class this week doing some sight reads, and the best way you can do this at home is to take some music that's a few levels below your current performance level. So let's say you're working at a grade 6, it would be great to pick out level 3 or level 4 repertoire. It could be an old repertoire book of yours, an old etude book of yours, or just some loose pages that you have from a previous year of study. Put that page in front of you and see if you can figure out what is the major key that's listed. Play the major scale that belongs to that key so that you can familiarize your hand around the sharps and flats and hand shaping. Give yourself a moment to look at that song. If it's more than 3 lines, just cut yourself off. Look at just the first 2 or 3 lines only. After you've had a moment to look at it silently, try playing it. Remember, on a sight read, you're not allowed to stop, and you should try to play with performance skill. Once you're done, go ahead and look over what you missed. Did you play the dynamics? Did you miss a slur? Did you miss a sharp or a flat or something in the key signature or a bowing? And then you can try it again for extra practice if you need to. You can even do it more than once. But practicing our sight reading really helps us to develop our reading skills. You can always go back and rewatch this video since I skipped over everything in 7 minutes, and of course our class lasted 90 minutes last night, but I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. Happy theory work!